the People's Podcast. What's up, y'all? This is DJ Busby.
And it's your boy JKD.
And he
Please do not start it like that.
You want that in the podcast?
No.
At least beeped? Or just completely take that shit out?
Yeah, take it out.
Okay. All right, no. Restart.
What?
What's up, people? It's your boy DJ Busby.
And it's
All right, we tried to start the show last time. I made a little funny, and now he can't start the show properly. Come on, dog. What's your name? That's an easy one. He's so frazzled right now. I'm not gonna do it again, dog.
it's your boy JKD.
I'm gonna put the other. I'm gonna beat the stuff. I'm gonna put it in so they understand. Why? Pause. I'm just saying. I want to welcome you guys to the People's Podcast. We're here each and every Monday. Thank you for tuning in, locking in, telling a friend, all that good stuff. We appreciate you guys very much so. If you're not already, make sure you're following us on the YouTube. Follow us on whatever podcast app you have. Just type in the People's Podcast.
And
that's the PPLS podcast.
Yep.
So, back with another episode today.
Yes, sir.
What's going on with you?
How much, man? A bit tired, you know? My body is not used to...
Why are you tired, dog?
My body's not used to fats. It's not used to fats that much anymore, you know what I'm saying?
True. Same.
And, you know, it takes a longer time to recuperate, you know, getting back into, you know, to my normal self. But, you know, Sunday, I had an amazing time. That's all I'm going to say.
You lucky as hell I beeped all that out earlier. And we can't say what happened. But I told JKD, if this happens in Juve, I will never let you forget about it. Never. 10 minutes after walking into Juve, he did exactly what I was telling him I don't want to see him do.
It wasn't my fault, though, bro.
I mean, it wasn't. And beforehand, he was like, "No, bro, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Don't worry, dog. I'm not gonna do it." 10 minutes after submitting getting our wristbands checked at the door. 10 minutes into Juve, the man did exactly what he said. So I've been bothering him ever since. But you know what? Y'all looking at me as the problem, and me as
you are the problem, though.
Hear what I'm going now. I'm glad you said that. JKD. If you only heard this man at the same Juve party he's talking about. First of all, we have a brethren. He'll remain nameless. But the man show up to Juve with a bloodshot red eye. A bloodshot red eye. So I'm worried about homeboy. I'm like, yo, go. I'm not going to say his name. Don't worry. I'm worried about homeboy.
It rhymes with hippie.
Let's say that. You stupid. This man's eye was like something was wrong with him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, bro, go to the doctor or something and let us know what's going on. Like, are you okay?
Right.
Here, JKD now. I know what actually happened. So weird. All right, JKD, what actually happened? I know what happened. Some gal with a dirty squirted in his eye. You would think that's enough. So everybody now disperses from this huddle, and we having this conversation. Everybody walk away laughing. Come back to the huddle now. JKD's like, psh. I said, Jesus Christ. This man, like, before he's worried about the man's well-being, the man said, psh. Oh, that was bad. And then on top of that now, what are you going to say?
No, let's go. Continue.
On top of that now, somebody points out the fact that my beard looks like Christmas after this Juve. So I'm like, yo, why are you going to say something like that? So they point out my beard looks like Christmas, but then the next gal was chilling with us, and she's like, wow, you got a lot of gray hairs. How do you have so many? So I say, rightfully so, a bunch of stupid promoters, very much so because of DJ Judgment, and sometimes because of JKD. Hear JKD in the background now. I know why. I know why he has gray hair. So I shut up now because I know what's coming after that whole I know what's coming. So I'm looking at the situation. All right, JKD, what do you have to say? Why do I have so many gray hairs? It's not because of you and all your confusion. This man turned to the girl and said, yo, Buzz has gray hairs because he's numbing out so much old gal. He's numbing out so much granny. I'm like, what?
Tati, I used to
Tati. I'm like, what? Jesus Christ, dog. You done lost his mind here on Good Sunday.
Gosh.
But it was a good day. It was a good day. Despite your nonsense, it was a very good day. Okay. Don't nobody see this. These stay in the live, so I have to bring it here. So y'all know what
I'm not always like that, though.
So didn't you hear me use the word sometimes earlier?
Yes.
So sometimes the boy give me real gray hairs in him. So I have to clap back people. Anyway, let's get this show started.
All right,
Thank you
cool.
for tuning into the People's Podcast. That was a little funny for you guys from this past weekend. Now, as always, we touch on some key topics that we feel like our community neglects
Right.
and needs to start paying more attention to. And open y'all minds to different perspectives on ideas that could actually benefit you, benefit the hardships that you go through, especially when it comes to these topics.
Right.
Those topics are relationships, wealth, health, and entertainment. So to start, as always, we'll start with the relationship segment.
Mm-hmm.
So we pulled this clip online, found it very interesting and very controversial, but we're going to talk on it. We'll play the clip for you guys right now.
I think there's something that Kevin understood that a lot of us who study this relationship phenomenon understand. Love was never traditionally a part of marriage. It's a recent invention since the 1700s. Prior to that, it was about duty and who matches well together. Your family has this land, our family has this herd of sheep. So we're going to come together and y'all are going to make a family because it's beneficial for society. What Kevin was pointing out, he always said this me society that we have. So it's not about, in today's day, it's about me as opposed to the family that we're going to come together and make. So love, it's not about marriage, it's not about love, it's about duty.
Yep.
That's why those marriages lasted so long, because the duty outlasted the love. You can fall out of love pretty quickly because it's a feeling, just like you can go from mad to angry to happy to sad, but duty remains. And I think that's the thing Kevin is trying to.
So I thought that was deep.
Yeah, man.
That was,
For sure.
That was a very good outlook on it because, you know what? Well, first of all, what do you think about that video?
Yep. I think it's facts. Again, social media and just media in a whole, teaches us that this fairy tale about love, you know what I'm saying? You gotta fall in love and everything is honky-dory and, you know what I'm saying? But actually, marriage is actually hard work, bro. To be honest, love kind of comes secondary.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when you find that person that you want to work with, you guys, work together and both give it your all. You know what I'm saying? Give it that 100.
Yeah.
Bro, and you add love to that equation, bro.
Yeah, it's magic.
Very, bro.
It's magical. And the craziest part too is, I feel like we're programmed from when we're young.
Yeah.
With all these Disney movies showing us Prince Charming and the princess
Right.
done lost her shoe and this is what you need to do. And we're programmed to think that is the goal.
Right.
That is love.
Right.
When it's nowhere near that.
Right.
The Prince Charming and the frog, all of that stuff is just fairy tales.
Right.
But as an impressionable child, you just automatically think, yo, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And you grow up with those feelings and those get neglected when you get older because you're dealing with people that are the farthest thing from these cartoons.
Right.
And that sucks because you're dealing with people who have their own trauma and they bring those demons onto you in a relationship.
Right.
And now have, quote unquote, ruined your purity, if I will.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
For lack of better terms.
Yeah.
But you come with an open mind to a relationship, and normally people are ruined by others' dysfunction.
Right.
And all of that being said, that, as important as it is, as you said, is secondary.
Yeah.
And I brought it up in a podcast a few podcasts ago, I think like a relationship is to be considered as a business relationship. Know who you're getting into business with.
Right.
Because a big, I don't know the exact figure, but a very high percentage of marriages go through a divorce because of money.
Right. Right.
And what he said was a very layman's terms, like back in the day, this family had this family had that,
Right.
and it made sense to merge the families.
Right. Right.
Right? This day and age has been completely sexualized.
Yeah.
And that's what the focus is.
And a lot of false hope. You get what I'm saying?
You're hoping for people to change.
Exactly.
I think Steve Harvey said it one. You can't change that, man.
Right. Right.
No, it might have been Tyler Perry. You can't change that, man.
Right.
He has to change for him, or vice versa. You can't change that woman.
Right. Right.
Lori Harvey.
Right.
It's crazy to me how he poured, like, when he did a lot of stuff for Lori Harvey,
Yeah.
everybody was praising him.
Right.
How much of a good guy he is, how
Right.
much he did this,
Right.
that, the other. And all of that, and being like what I've heard from women considered the like
Yeah.
ideal looking man.
Right.
You literally had the whole package, and she still was not ready to receive you.
Right. Right.
If he can't get through, who is
This
Buzz
is
B from Toronto? So it's that you got to find the right person who is ready to receive those things.
Absolutely.
But on top of that, is capable of holding their own
Right.
and moving forward as a collective unit.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with you, for instance, how does that dynamic work with your marriage?
I'm gonna sit here and say it's all
Better roses.
yeah, it's a work in progress, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I think a key thing to that is us talking, bro.
Yeah.
Like if we're not communicating certain things, bro, like what's the point? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But because we are communicating, and I find that that's something that is a work in progress, that's always going to be a work in progress.
Yeah.
Bro, you're golden, bro. Just like talking. Honestly, it's just talking to your spouse is like that's a key thing in a relationship to
Yep.
work. You know what I'm saying?
Communication.
Yeah.
It's pivotal in any relationship period.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like especially that one. Like that's who you're supposed to be able to confide in and
Exactly.
tell whatever
Right.
and work through it.
Right. And this is supposed to be your person forever. Like you're growing with that person forever.
Yeah.
So you should be able to have that conversation with that person.
And then don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every single thing is going to be the easiest thing to bring up
yeah.
or talk to.
Right.
But, being through something like that before, especially even if you're not in a marriage per se, if you're in a
Yeah.
growing relationship,
Right.
aspiring to get to the marriage point,
Right.
it's like if me and the old lady or whatever, so
Yeah.
to speak, are bickering about the toilet seat
Right.
or just throwing out random nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you didn't turn off this light,
Right.
and that's a huge argument to the point where we can't even talk about it
Right.
and
Yeah.
communicate and work past that. If we can't come to an understanding about a light being turned on or
Right.
off,
Right.
when the real situation comes up between the relationship,
Right.
then what?
Exactly.
And that whole like people closing themselves off, like detaching themselves from the situation.
Right.
And I get maybe you need a 5-10 minutes to cool yourself
Right.
down.
Right.
But like to go and not tell your spouse where you're gonna be for the night type thing.
Right. Yeah.
And like big up Willard when he was on the podcast, that he mentioned there was a lot. Blessed One, if you guys want to check out that podcast, it was an amazing one.
Yeah.
Advice from 10 years of marriage. That's one where it's like if you leave, there is no telling you're coming back.
Yeah. True.
You step out that door and you drive off and you get in some car accident.
Right.
You go into some grocery store and there decides to be a maniac at that grocery
Right.
store that day.
Right.
Anything could happen and you'll never be able to forgive yourself
Yeah.
and
yeah.
think about what you're doing to the person you're leaving behind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And those type of things, like again, it reinforces these mentalities that you should keep in mind.
Right. I'm gonna touch back to what you were saying about like the light bulbs and stuff, like little things. Like I used to be that type of person where like little things would just get me upset.
Yeah.
Same with my wife. Little things would get her upset, and that's something that you don't know that you have to fix yourself until you're in a relationship, bro.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing thing too. Like it's an ongoing thing. Like I find myself like wanting to get upset at little things, but I'm just like, yo, what's the point? What's the point? Like, what really is the point? And that's a lot of self-reflecting, too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like to think about themselves. They just say things and they do things, and don't think about other people as well. They don't think about their spouse as well.
Yep.
When they do certain things. So a lot of it is just self-reflecting and just working it out, having a conversation. Simple.
It's simple, and I do understand that is not so simple at times.
Okay.
But I
Right.
get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
it needs to happen. That's
Yes.
that's just point blank
Right.
what it is. And to be honest, at the end of the day, when you break down the two scenarios,
Right.
you fighting back and forth, being petty, doing nonsense,
Right.
and shutting the person out, or simply having a conversation
Station.
and
Yeah.
moving forward,
Right.
even to the point where you might have to agree to disagree.
Right.
That lane is way better than the other one.
Yeah, and I feel like like arguing too is like it requires more energy than just having a simple conversation about.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and I had brought it up a while back as well, but to bring it back again, an idea that could be touched on is like the notion of breaking these like conventional ways of getting married,
Yeah.
or like these conventional, things that need to be done when getting married or
Right.
when you are married,
Right.
what the protocol is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for
Right.
instance, a wedding ring.
Yeah.
What is a wedding ring?
Right.
Literally what? So you could show everybody that I'm taking and this is how much money he has? Or vice versa, this is how much money she has?
Yeah. It's say with the whole marriage, bro. It's say with the whole marriage
That's
ceremony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All of that.
Like, we're not getting like people have lost their mind in terms of weddings, like spending. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you have the money, spend it. Whatever,
Exactly,
do whatever
yeah.
you want to do with it. But people have got caught up with the whole fantasy of spending money for other people to see you. You're spending money for them to eat. You're spending money for them to be there, when it's really about you guys. And I like for example, like I like what my brother's doing. My brother's getting married soon. He just said, "Yo, F everybody." Excuse my language. F everybody. I'm going to Turks and Caicos and marrying my wife.
Oh,
And which it should be like that's what it should be.
yeah, it's
You know what I'm saying?
it's y'all marriage. I get everybody else wants to celebrate, but
Right.
let's go to Juve. Let's go to Soca Brainwash. Let's go to Tsunami. Carnival Sunday, July 31st, 2022. But facts. Let's go celebrate a different way.
Right.
Instead of a wedding ring, let's put that money into a property.
Exactly.
Instead of A, B, C, D, there's so many other ways
yeah.
that you could utilize that big payout that you're giving to some random like Bangladeshi banquet hall owner. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Facts. Instead of giving it to them just so you could, show
Right.
off.
Right.
And like you said too, it's to each their own.
Right.
Don't go
Right.
outside of your means,
Right.
but think more logically with these things. Like,
Yeah.
it is a business transaction. So instead of parading it like a show,
Right.
think about it like a business.
And then, like I always have this conversation with Tasha. It's like we wish that what we knew now back then.
Yeah.
Because we did the whole special ceremony, spending a whole bunch of money on a wedding. If we didn't do that
Yeah.
and we had taken that money and invested, bro, I would have had like 3 houses by now. Facts. Like it would have been. I would have had 3 houses by now.
Yeah. You're right.
So I mean, again, to each his own. You know what I'm saying?
And then like there's a dynamic too of like it is a business relationship. So what is each person putting on the table?
Right. Right.
Not only monetarily, but like energy wise,
Right,
etc.
Right.
Like be on the same page, do
right.
the same like efforts, and make life happen.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
And it's always a problem when one is dragging the other,
Right.
and you feel like it's dead weight.
Right.
And then you're like, one thing I before we switch topics, one thing I thought about too was like, sometimes obviously love could be something where you just it makes no sense, and you're doing stuff and worse off accepting stuff just because you love this person so much.
Right.
But to me, it's always happened where it's like, as much as there was that, 9 times out of 10, there's always been somebody else that has come along after the fact that's like, if only I wasn't in a relationship.
Mm.
And then they could have been the perfect person.
Right.
But you're pigeonholing yourself into this relationship just because you love this person so much.
Right. Right.
But they're not doing what's right for you.
Right.
And somebody always comes along. It's just like clockwork.
Right. Right.
And then you think to yourself, okay, like I wish I didn't have somebody I could be with this person right now.
Mm-hmm.
And most people are going to end up battling with that and end up doing what?
Cheating.
So, like patience is also part of the game too.
Yeah.
Make sure it's the right one and that you guys have a common understanding of how you're going to work together
Right.
before you decide to sign away your life to a marriage.
Right.
Because that's literally what you're doing. It's no longer your life, it's your family's.
Yep. Exactly.
So, or at least most of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But that's the relationship segment. Hopefully that helped in some way, shape, or form to somebody out there listening.
Right.
And gave you a new perspective on the ideas of marriage as opposed to it being just prince and
Right.
princess charming. Next, wealth. And before we talk about wealth, we spoke about investing with Andre last week.
Yes.
Want to big up Andre. Guys, check out that one.
It's a good one.
Good one, especially for a lot of you guys are going to be traveling now.
Right.
A lot of you guys are hearing this podcast wondering about investing. It gives a lot of basic tips and tricks to
Right.
all of those fields.
Right.
And it's a very good one to go and watch. But in regards to investing, this month, and it happened a few days ago actually, Amazon did a stock split.
Right. Saw that.
So in terms of a stock split, one stock a couple weeks ago for Amazon costed upwards of 3,000
Right.
Canadian dollars.
Right.
Now you don't have to spend that much to get one stock
Right.
of Amazon. Instead, they broke it up into I think 20
Oh yeah. Okay.
to 1 or something like that.
Okay. I didn't
So
know that
now
one.
you could buy one stock of Amazon
Right.
for I think I got a few stocks at 124
Oh wow.
each,
Okay.
and it allows you to enter the market a
right.
lot easier.
Right. Right.
A lot of people see $3,000 for a stock. Like,
Right, right.
I can't afford that.
Right.
This allows you to get in a lot
So
easier.
so what's the benefits of like a company doing that though? Of
That-
splitting stocks.
Being able to acquire more stocks in the company.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out the benefit because I was like, well, if I could buy it before the split
Right.
at a cheaper price, because I'm gonna buy the
Yeah,
amount of
right.
one stock beforehand anyway for the 20.
Right.
If I could buy it cheaper beforehand, why don't I just do that? But all of the advisors on the platforms that I watched, they
Yeah.
were saying wait for the split, wait for
Okay.
the split.
Okay.
I think it's just a matter of attaining in more individual stocks
Okay. Okay.
as opposed to one big whole one.
Right. Right.
So Amazon split, you could check that out. That's available, I believe, for the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
What's the next one? Shopify is splitting mid-June,
Okay.
so around the time of this podcast releasing. And near the end of the month, I believe June 26th, Google.
So these companies are already like have come out and said like we're gonna be splitting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they knew that from earlier this year. Like people
Okay.
knew it was public knowledge.
Okay.
So Google's splitting at the end of the month.
Okay.
And
Wicked.
these are kingpins in their lanes.
Right. Right.
Like there is nobody even close in terms of competition.
Right. Right.
So it's a good look to
Wicked.
research that, do your own research, but
Right.
now is a good time to invest in those companies.
Has like a company like Apple they've done a split before?
No, but well, I don't know if they have or haven't, but
Okay.
at this point, like one Apple stock is about as much as a split
Oh, for real?
of yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So as to why, I think this is me speculating, but I think it's because Apple has a more quote unquote niche
Right. Right.
market base,
right.
even though they're the dominant one
Right.
in that space.
Right.
But the other ones have like a huge market share in
Right.
what they
Okay.
do, like Amazon, for instance,
Right.
a huge corporation that's worldwide.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
so there's those factors to keep in. But again, do y'all own research, search it up. Stock splits,
Yep.
Amazon and Google are two key ones to look out for. And those of you that are getting into investing, that's just a quick tip to
Okay.
go and do some research.
Wicked.
The wealth segment of this is this video that I pulled up on Instagram
Mhm.
from Earn Your Leisure.
Right.
Big up them guys out in Earn Your Leisure doing big things. They just had their assets and liabilities show on Revolt.
Okay.
They just had their finale. They interviewed Dame Dash. And I saw this clip, and this one hit home for me. So we're going to play the clip.
So I've won fairly early at what my young dream was. So my dreams evolved. It's like a club. Once I've been in Club Dream and it dies, which means it's a funeral because it became a reality, which is the best funeral, is when your dream dies because it really happened. Then I got to go think about something bigger to do. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll get bored. I'm just never complacent, and there's always something to fight for. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to make it in a way, in a system that most can't, without having to sacrifice my nuts. And that's almost impossible. It makes me damn near a unicorn. Damn near. Like, I do it my way or no way. And as a result of that, it may take a little bit longer to get where I gotta go, but it's worth it. Meaning, once I've done it this way, now I gotta do it my way.
Big facts.
Yeah.
So what do you think about what you just heard?
It's absolutely true, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once you have that dream and you obtain that dream and you know, like, there's no time to wait around. Like, you know, start to think of other things. You know what I'm saying? Because what? That dream was done, like, you think everything is going to be fine?
Yeah.
No, obtain some more goals. Like, you know what I'm saying? Break more barriers.
Yeah.
And it's facts. Like, you know, you think all these other millionaires are just sitting down after they make their first million? No, they're still getting more money.
Yeah. It brings me back to like what I said. Rigo said to me when we were on our way to Ottawa.
Right.
And he was just like, "Yo, reach where? You telling me I reach somewhere? Reach where?"
Right.
Even Jay-Z and Drake are that they've reached somewhere,
Right.
and they're still hustling and grinding and working hard.
Right.
And it's facts. Like, you got to keep aspiring to do better than what you have done,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
do bigger, because doing bigger gives you expansion,
Right.
and expansion allows for more people to be funded by your thought processes
Right.
and your ideas.
Right.
A post that I saw too that kind of, you know, is in line with what we're talking about was like, people always say, "Oh, Apple are monsters,
Right.
Amazon are monsters," and then under that quote it said Apple has 100,000 employees,
Right.
Amazon has 1 million something employees.
Right.
So these monsters are putting food on this many people's tables.
Right. This is facts.
So business is bottom line. You can't get rid of that.
Right.
But if you're able to help people and provide opportunities where people get a job,
Right.
that's something you got to consider.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
It's not just, we're bottom line and
Right.
that's it. We don't
Right.
care about our people.
Right.
Further to that now, at Juve in the parking lot, somebody had come up to me. I won't say who, but he's like, he's known me from the jump.
Right. Right.
Or at least of me from since the jump.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, I don't see you often at all, really. I haven't seen you in years, but every time I do see you, you know, I always have to like stop, take a moment and like congratulate you,
Right.
because I'm just extremely impressed at the strides that you're making."
Right.
I had a party with, another thing that he said too was like, people in this scene come and go.
Right. Yeah.
They're hot for a minute, then they fall off and you don't know where they went. And people are always in and out of the scene. People are always trying, but they never really do anything of substance.
Right.
But he was like, you have like outshined your whole, lane.
Right.
And he commended me on that. Next thing too was the Enforcers party, Soca Junkies.
Right.
I played this past week. Big
Right.
up Enforcers. They were actually the first people to book me ever.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
And they were the first, but they've literally seen my growth from the start
Right.
to what it is now.
Right.
And Marlon came up to me like, "Yo, I have to commend you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what you're doing is huge, and like, big up to you."
Right. Yeah.
And for men like that to say that to me, that
right.
literally they've been in this game probably longer than I've been born.
Right.
And they're telling me that
Right.
his dad was like the top dog when it comes to soca.
Wow.
And he's telling me that.
Right.
So I say all of that to say, like, I resonated with what Dame was saying.
Yeah. Yep. True.
I didn't have to sacrifice my nuts
Right.
in order to get to these like pivotal places in this industry.
Right.
And that's a lesson to everybody listening. Like, you don't need to be riding anybody's coattails.
Right.
You don't need to be attaching yourself to somebody else's brand.
Right.
Because the one thing he said in this was it's worth it at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
You're giving somebody power to feed you, they're gonna have power to starve you.
Right.
And if something happens to whoever you're following one day, like you're riding their coattails,
Right.
if they decide to flick you off their coat,
Right. Exactly.
or knock on wood, if anything happens to this person,
right.
what happens to you?
Right.
What have you built as a foundation?
And I did like what he said. It took him longer, but he enjoyed it
Yeah,
because at the end it was worth it.
is way more worth it.
Yeah, man.
Because you could say you built your own,
Right. Exactly.
and nobody could take that from you.
Exactly.
It's even like down to these platforms, bro, like Amazon, Instagram,
Right.
TikTok. Even if you're the most popular person on those platforms,
Yeah.
if you're not making money off of what you've built, that platform means next to nothing
Right.
except attention.
Absolutely.
But the point of it is building your brand on those
Right.
things so that
Right.
even if one day Instagram decides to change its algorithm again,
Right.
or Instagram goes belly up,
Right.
you still have your brand.
Right.
And that's important too. So knowing those things and working hard to build it yourself,
Right. Right.
it's pivotal.
Yeah.
Never give anybody those powers over you.
Yeah.
And you can do it. Like I'm telling you guys, I am nobody's son, nobody's brother.
Right.
I came out of nowhere at the age of 18 and decided one day I wanted to start DJing
Right.
and just give it a shot.
Right.
All of a sudden here I am.
Yeah.
But that's to show you like you don't need those things. And I've fallen into that trap too, where I'm like, okay, I need to align myself with this person to get here.
Yeah.
I need to align myself with this person to get here, or this person to grow.
Right. Right.
I didn't need any of that. It was nice if it came along,
Right.
but I realized like you could do all of this, not necessarily yourself,
Right.
but without relying on somebody.
Absolutely.
Like you think, the problem I heard it was well put the other day by I can't remember who said it. It must have been I think 19 Keys, but he mentioned it's kind of history's fault in terms of like why everybody always wants to be the one to do it.
Mm.
Because when you're looking at the history books and you see like a Malcolm X,
Right. Right.
you see Michael Jordan,
Right. Right.
right? These iconic names of Michael Jackson.
Right.
It literally was never just them.
Right. Right.
Like it can't possibly have
just
been just them.
Right.
They always had a team of people around them,
Absolutely.
and nobody thinks about that part,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
So like you could do these things on your own, meaning you could pioneer the ship
Right.
and have your people behind you,
Absolutely.
but you don't have to be on somebody else's,
Right. Right.
to be trailing behind somebody else.
Yeah.
That's just the point I'm trying to get at. But y'all all have it in you. Just work hard, man.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things, bro. It started off with like a thought, and then it started off with a dream. Like you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it just didn't just happen. Like you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We dreamt it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, yo, like I want to be a great DJ one day, and look what you're doing.
Yeah.
You manifested into your dream, and look where you are right now. Yes, it may have taken a long time to get there,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying you're there yet. You know what I'm saying? You probably are not saying that you're there yet, but I feel like you're on the brim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how we have to keep it moving, bro. Like
Facts.
we have a dream, we have to act on it.
Yeah. That's exactly how it is. So, guys, keep that in mind and just keep striving. Y'all are all doing good. You're doing great. Just you could do it. Don't ever feel like you have to rely on another opportunity
Right.
in order to excel.
Right.
It may take a bit longer, but you could always create your own opportunities.
Absolutely.
Story done. Anyway, we're midway through the episode today. Just want to remind you guys to hit that follow button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button there on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, the like,
Yep.
comments wherever you're listening to this. Let us know your thoughts on whatever you're thinking as you're listening to this podcast. And of course, share it with a friend. Let them know it's a life-changing podcast.
Yep.
So many people have told us our testimonies so far. The testimonial saying, like, yo, your podcast is changing my life.
Yeah.
I'm actually like putting into practice what you guys are talking about.
Right. Right.
And it's helping a lot.
Yep.
So we appreciate hearing that because it's just a heartwarming feeling to know that, we're not doing this behind any big company getting
Right.
paid.
Yeah, right.
This is just our camera and doing it for the sake of bettering our culture. And to hear that it's working, despite like if the numbers not being the millions yet,
Right.
we're
They'll
thankful.
get there. Yeah.
We're thankful. So we appreciate you guys, and back to the episode. Now, next on the list is health.
Right.
So this one now, we're gonna talk about not necessarily, eating good,
Right,
not
right.
about weight loss per se.
Right.
This one is more on the fence of self-love
Right.
and the importance of that. So let's play the clip and hear what we pulled up this week for health.
One of my favorite books is As a Man Thinketh. So I truly believe like whatever you put into your mind, you're going to get out. Like how many men look in the mirror, like a mirror over there, and say, hey, I'm worthy, I'm amazing, I can make all of my dreams come true. That's why that one Kanye clip when he's like, I am a God, I love that clip.
Yeah.
He's
yeah,
like,
big
it's
guy
like
energy.
because he's like, yo, if I said I'm a nigga, that may resonate with 95%, but what you program and put into your mind becomes true, and you pass that down to your children and lineage. So I think relationships, and especially marriage, when you find the right person, there is no multiplier like that. If you have peace, happiness, joy, and someone who's on the same level who wants to help you build. A lot of times people get married because they've been sold this idea of romantic love. And romantic love was created to sell trinkets.
Yeah,
And
that's a
jewelry,
fact.
engagement ring, homes, even the American dream.
It's Roman antics. That's where we get it from. We get it from the
Absolutely.
Romans. You understand?
One of my favorite books is As a Man Thinketh. So
I think he's the best one.
You can read between the lines what he said about romance.
Yeah. Sounds a lot like somebody I know. So what do you think about the self-love?
Yeah, I
aspect
mean,
of things?
I have a lot of questions about that too, because like, especially when he was talking about men, like, how are we supposed to, self-love our, us, but we weren't taught that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, how do we get to that point of self-love if we weren't even taught that, especially in our community? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of broken homes. A lot of kids grow up with no fathers, especially boys. How are we supposed to get to that point where, we start looking at ourselves as kings and as men, strong men, if we weren't even taught that?
That's a fact. And then on top of that, we're taught to be providers.
Right.
So nowhere in that does it say
Right.
figure out yourself.
Right.
Do for others.
Right.
That's literally, isn't that the definition of provider?
Absolutely.
So nowhere does it say do for you.
Right.
And that's important. And it was Breakfast Club. They were
Okay.
interviewing 2 football players.
Right.
And these football players were basically like, yo, the craziest part is nobody ever thinks about our mental health. And especially them in the football field.
Right. Right.
They're like, imagine I'm playing football, but it's my job
Right.
to tackle this guy
Right,
and
right.
hurt this guy.
Right.
And I may know Johnny on the other team and
Right.
know that he has a nice family and this and that. But when I go to play, my mind has to trigger on the fact that I might have to hurt this guy.
Right. Right.
But nobody thinks about the mental damage that does to you.
Right.
He was saying how with NFL players, and I use this as an analogy for a broader conversation.
Right.
He's saying NFL players is what is a sick day?
Hmm.
They're like literally, unless your thing is fractured,
Right.
or to the point where like your bone is sticking out of your skin,
Right. This-
they're not hearing, yeah, I'm not feeling good today.
Right,
No,
right.
you have to be on the court.
Right.
And all of that plays a toll into who this person is becoming.
Right.
And those type of emotions normally have to get bottled up.
But where do we learn that from? That's where I'm getting.
People's podcast. Like the reality is like, and that's kind of what this podcast is.
Right.
A lot of this stuff we're not taught.
Right.
And if it's not by school,
Right.
it's not by family either.
True.
As you said, there's a lot of broken homes. So all you're taught by is your experiences.
Right.
And if you're seeing that, you might end up just doing it.
True.
'Cause
Well, again, I think self-love is that, like, to understand self-love, like, you got to you have to go through situations, right?
yeah.
Again, how would you know deep within that you love yourself? if somebody has never showed you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think it takes certain key people, for example, a loving wife, a loving mother, if you have, you know what I'm saying? It does take certain people to show you that, yo, you're valuable in this world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For you to tap into that self-love.
Yeah. Because a lot of times, like, even me, I deal with that myself. I don't, and you always tell me this, like, bro, you don't even realize who you are in the scene.
Absolutely.
A lot of times and a lot of people that I've even met recently are like, you're just acting like a regular guy. You don't realize you're who you are.
Right.
I'm like, I don't look at myself like that. I'm just working hard at what I do.
Right.
But it's facts. Like, you got to realize who you are
Right.
and understand that. And once you know who you are, you're at that point able to put up barriers.
Right.
And say, no, I'm worth more than how this person's treating me.
Right.
You need to stay at arm's length,
Right.
etc.
I'll take it deeper than that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into the whole, like, you know, the color and all that stuff. But like us as black people, we're the most impressed. You get what I'm saying? Doesn't that show you that, yo, like, if we're the most oppressed, we should be able, like, there's a reason why we are. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have something that they don't. You know what I'm saying? So we should be looking at ourselves as like, yo, like, I am a king.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Self-love is key. And, I say all of that to say, like, yeah, certain situations happen with people. Like, for instance, Will Smith.
Right.
A perfect example.
Yeah.
Things built up to the point where, like, something that shouldn't have even irked him.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
Brought him to the point of walking up onto the Grammy stage and slapping Chris Rock.
Right.
And everybody's pointing the finger at Will, which rightfully so they should be.
Right.
But nobody ever talks about healing. Nobody ever talks about, what could have caused that? Why was that a thing?
Right.
And if we could figure that out and help him, then understanding that and teaching that to the masses helps everybody.
Right.
So that all of us don't end up going up on that Grammy stage one day and
Right.
slapping Chris Rock, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So that's the root of what I'm trying to get to. Like, there's certain scenarios where men just act out of character,
Right.
or even women.
Right.
But understanding that self-love and being able to be at peace with yourself is key.
Right.
So I thought that was a dope one to bring up.
Cool.
Last but not least, entertainment. So your boy,
My boy.
your brethren there
Yes.
with the receding hairline. I don't even know if his receipt. He got implants, didn't he? He had the
don't even
money.
know.
He had the money.
Well, that doesn't matter. What matters is that he hit that $1 billion that club.
Billionaire Bron.
Yes, sir.
LeBron James is now the first active NBA player to hit $1 billion.
Yep. Yep.
Round of applause first and foremost.
Just a black man from Akron, Ohio.
It's a wonderful thing to see because, like it gives people things to look up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
How you feel when you saw that?
Bro, I felt nice, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Bron is like easily one of my favorite players. You know what I'm saying? He has a structure. He has a good foundation. Has a good wife, 3 kids. You know what I'm saying? He's setting a perfect example of what a black man is doing right in America and all over the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So kudos to him, man. $1 billion active player.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan got it after playing.
But everybody always going to talk about that ring conversation.
Man, that doesn't matter, man.
But
you know what I'm saying?
what does matter?
It does matter, but like
No, I'm saying what does matter. Bron has $1 billion while playing the game.
Exactly.
So can you even compare those two?
No.
So people always want to nitpick at those certain things. Like,
You're right.
just congratulate the man.
And I feel like Bron is doing way more in the community than what Jordan did. And at the end of the day, bro, that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Because when it comes to like what our culture or our color,
Right.
our demographic spend money on,
Right.
one of the top listing amounts is money on Jordan. So was he really helping? And those aren't even comfortable. It's not like those are helping me with my day to day.
You have flat foot.
Either way, same way, those aren't comfortable.
I get it. Yeah.
It's not helping me with my day to day.
Right.
I ain't going to play in ball, so
Right.
it's not. Is it really helping our whole community? Nah, but Braun is.
Right.
All it's helping us do is waste money trying to look fly.
Right. Right.
You know, I congratulate him. $1 billion, that's an amazing thing to look up to.
Right.
And I'm happy that we have these figures in our community that make us realize it is possible.
Right.
So many people they think it's so out of reach. But
Right.
if somebody has done that, especially if they look anything like you,
Right. Right.
it's possible.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like an inspiration that I saw the other day too was goddamn Tyler Perry's.
Yeah.
You see Tyler Perry's
Yeah.
$100 million mansion
Right.
estate?
Yeah.
The man bought a whole like plot of land in the middle of the forest,
Right.
and this thing looks like, I don't know, bigger than the White House
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
That is like big goals, bro.
Right.
And not to say I'm going to shoot for $100 million
Right.
house,
Right.
but something like that just makes me really
Realize.
realize that this stuff is possible.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Even with the conversation we had with a person, I'm not gonna say his name, where he's like, yo, like, I paid off my mortgage.
Yeah.
To me, bro, I'm just like, yo, you paid off your mortgage?
Yeah.
All right, so I can do it too then. And that's exactly what he said. He's like, yo, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I? If I could do it, you could do it.
Facts. That's literally what I was saying earlier. I'm nobody.
Right.
who was Steven? But I managed to make a name out of BuzzFeed.
Facts.
And I
Facts.
came out of nowhere and had no training whatsoever.
Right.
Same with that guy. He's able to pay off his mortgage. How?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and you would never expect that just looking at him.
Right. Right.
But these things, understanding that these things are possible is the first step.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't think that, oh yeah, $1 billion, I'll never get there.
Right.
No, you could.
Right.
But once you start realizing, I think the biggest thing when we were talking to that person was he said, it's about building your chess pieces,
Yeah.
but the more important part is figuring out how to move them.
Right.
So you could have all the right pieces in the world, but if you don't move them right, you're not taking that person's king or queen.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the key, is figuring out how to move them.
Right.
So a lot of y'all have everything that you need, either in you or around you.
Right.
Pause, I guess. But but you just got to understand how to utilize those things to advance.
Right. Right.
And then you'll really be able to make a change and a difference in your life and the people surrounding you.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the People's Podcast. We appreciate you for being here. So another quick reminder to like, subscribe, share, comment,
Right.
and all that good stuff.
We're not giving away anything this show, or no?
I don't know, bro. Shall we?
Nah.
Next episode?
Next one.
And next episode's your birthday episode, huh?
Is it? Okay. All right.
So, all right.
We'll give them. You know what we can give them? Breeze cake and air pie. Nothing.
First of all, I'm wondering if Bree made you a cake.
I said breeze cake.
Exactly.
Breeze cake and air pie, which means nothing. We're not gonna give nobody.
I understand you now, Bird. But what I was saying was, I thought Bree made you a cake. You're giving away Bree's cake. That's it.
Nah, man.
Anyway. All right, people. Thank you once again. It's another episode of the People's Podcast, and we out.
Peace.